Hello and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, the Norwegian campaign. Yggdrasil finds herself in a bit of a pickle. Instead of just encountering one British light cruiser, it's three light cruisers and a heavy cruiser. And these two light cruisers in particular, the Sentinel class, they're pretty big for light cruisers. 14,000 tons. That is quite impressive. Oh, 13,000. The max size is 14. And yeah, I think this would have been a pretty even fight. Yggdrasil would probably have come out on top. Yeah, but this is going to be tricky. I think I can take on the light cruisers though. Whether or not I've got enough of a ship left after that to take out the heavy one as well, we shall have to find out. It's a pretty oh, I forgot the class name. I think it's Vidar. I'm not sure, but it's a pretty strong heavy cruiser. It's almost like a small battle cruiser in many ways. There you go. Enemy spotted. So this one has 11-inch guns too, but only 6 of them. I've got 8. But they also have torpedoes. And an escort of 3 light cruisers. Armor is about the same as mine. Let's take out the lights first. Lights out. That's the ISIS class. The one without the torpedoes. The 2 Sentinels carry torpedoes. Have they launched yet? Not yet. Let me just get a couple good flooding hits on the lead cruiser. There we go. That is pretty much out. Keep the secondaries on it, just for now. They still haven't launched. But that's one light cruiser already almost out of the fight. I've taken, I took some pretty juicy hits from that heavy cruiser. Brilliant. Not doing too brilliant right now. And I think brilliant is about done. Brilliant is done. Let me get a couple good hits on Prometheus as well. And then I need to start working on that enemy heavy cruiser, which is doing some pretty mean things to me. Yeah, most of the damage I've taken is from the 11-inch guns on St. George. And it does quite a bit of damage too. There we go. Prometheus has launched. Let me put the main guns on St. George for a bit. I can do some damage in return. Six-inch guns on Prometheus not really doing too much to me. The Prometheus with all those torpedo launchers should be somewhat vulnerable to my 5.9-inch secondaries. If it would just stray within range. Let me go AP on the main guns as well. 15 kilometers. Yeah, I can do some damage with AP at that range. And I do. St. George has lost her tower. That is pretty huge. That will reduce incoming fire a bit. Let's see, Prometheus. Are you... there we go. Torpedo detonation aboard Prometheus. It is a more expensive ship than the enemy heavy cruiser. So in terms of victory points, it should actually be worth more. There we go, took some engine damage as well. Run out of ammo for torpedo launchers. That means a launch. Okay, back to St. George. And if it launched, I need to be turning. That means Prometheus is pretty much no longer a threat. So I can just keep reacting to St. George and eventually get close enough to Prometheus again that my my 5.9s will take care of it. Speaking of taking care of it, why, St. George, there's something wrong with your A turret. Of course, I was once again too slow to actually pause the game and zoom in and take a picture of the pretty flash fire. But yeah, I think we've got this now. The enemy cruiser has no more 11-inch ammo because it all blew up. It has launched torpedoes, so once again I need to be turning. Prometheus is heavily damaged. All her torpedoes have blown up. And there's the ISIS class cruiser somewhere far behind here, but that is that should not be too much of a problem. There's not much left of it. There we go. We can get closer to St. George, I think. Yeah, my accuracy is up. Penetration chance is up. Yep, we got this. Or at least I think we do. Because the torpedo launchers on my side were empty. There we go. Now Prometheus. And then let's go find the other one. Good job. That was very lucky with the flash fire aboard the enemy heavy cruiser. Let's see, like so maybe? I can just ignore these kind of HUD brackets that are, for some reason, are still visible even after turning off the HUD. Never noticed that before. That those don't disappear. I guess they don't. There we go. Caledon is the last one. That's the ISIS class. The enemy very affordable light cruiser class that does not have torpedoes. And is somewhat lightly armored, but for 224 million, I think this is not a bad ship. And there we go. A bit more flooding. I'm only capable of doing 24.6 knots currently, because my ship has taken quite a beating. Yeah, you can just looking at the damage numbers here, you can see the drastic difference between an 11-inch gun and a 6-inch gun. In dip, you really do want to go for the big guns. Ricocheting. Let's try with HE. Might just have to take down the structure. Because the last unflooded compartments are at the bow. Well, they're actually doing a little bit of damage in return against my ship. That's mostly like penetrating and taking out my secondary guns. Let's go back to auto for the main guns. And they just get blocked. There we go. A bit more flooding. Guess we're just gonna have to force HE then on the main guns, because AP was not too effective at this angle. Let's just get more to their broadside. And finally take this down. Just peppering it at long range with 11-inch guns would also have been a an option, I guess. There we go. Finally! That was tougher than I thought it would be, taking out the last one. So Yggdrasil will have to spend some time in port, getting repaired. But at least it didn't sink. There we go, 1 DD and a another ISIS class. We got, oh! Yeah, this is my pre-dreadnought task force. Exciting. Alright. Well, I got one dreadnought. It is the Poseidon. It is a Greek-built ship that I've taken possession of and refit. I did give it radar. I had to check that. I wasn't quite sure. So we do have a dreadnought on our side. Let's see, we got one of these with 10-inch guns. Does it have radar? It does. As you can see, it's also been given a refit. These two, though, not so much. Eidsvoll and Einherjar. I think I'll keep the Alfheim in the battle. The old Valkyrie class DDs, they are due for being scrapped. They don't have oxygen torpedoes or radar or really anything useful. And I did delete the design for them, so they can no longer get refit. Torstein class light cruiser. It should be decent. She might actually be able to solo the enemy task force. Now that I think about it. Okay, Alfheim, you can go home too. I want to keep the dreadnoughts here, though, in service. And the pre-dreadnoughts, I guess. Including the Odin, sister ship of the original Harald Hårfagre. Still kicking around. Now with 11-inch guns instead of 12s. Because the 12-inch Mark IIIs would just not fit. Maybe I shouldn't be risking that light cruiser here. It is quite expensive. And there's of course the possibility that the enemy DD will launch torpedoes There goes my torpedoes. Let's launch from both sides. There we go, my battleships are opening up. Wager has launched, probably against my light cruiser, and probably when it was moving towards them, I guess. Yeah, let's just keep the main guns on the DD. And hope that my battleships don't run into the torpedoes. But I don't think they should be on course. Poseidon hits Dartmouth, causing some pretty heavy damage. The pre-dreadnoughts are not really scoring any hits. They've done a little bit of damage, but nothing serious. It really is the Poseidon doing most of the work here. As you would expect. And it's a much more modern and powerful ship than the pre-dreadnoughts. But one of them could get lucky and score a good HE hit on that DD, but probably not before Cody can take it down. Or maybe they can, because the Poseidon just did. Alright, yeah. So Magnus, Bodfoot, and Tyr did a little bit each. Odin did nothing. Poseidon did most of the work, as kind of as expected. And my invasions here are going well. I took Annam off of France. They just have Laos left, which, well, I have to rely on the armies to take that one, unless I take it through war operations. Now, let's see. Maybe I want to do something about Java. I need to be in the Indonesian seas to initiate that invasion. So, I'm just going to move them here. Alright. I'm not sure exactly where the border between Indonesian seas and Southeast Asia is, so that should be safe. Obviously, the invasion itself is going to pop up around here somewhere, but I need to initiate it first. 100% here, 100% here, and still 100% here. Alright, so that is good. All is well. Bit of spare capacity, not a huge amount. And I will need some I will need to have some ships repaired. Some of the ones that are at sea, sooner or later. Yggdrasil, that's a 6-month repair. Okay, anyway. Let's see, we're 15 months out from getting gas turbines. And when that happens, I can finally build. I hope I can finally build those long DDs with all the torpedo launchers. What's that? I'm getting triple base. All right, good. Spain seems to like me. One strike, and that seems to be it. Everyone seems to like me. I could cancel the alliance with Russia, I guess. I think maybe I should. But not this turn, because I need to use my my thing here to start the invasion of Java. And here, that should be... Not sure exactly which of these ports the circle is going to center on, but it should be one of... in the middle here. It should be inside any of them. I hope. Britain is having a lot of problems with uprisings. Still 100%. 99%. Well, they're moving out that light cruiser. It's moving in here to interrupt this instead. Okay. And we're commissioning a whole lot of new DDs. That is good to see. Alright. Let's just keep going. And first the strikes, of course. And then a meeting. Ah, it's the old ships once again. This time getting attacked by a more substantial task force. Let's see if we can do this. And we should be able to. Now, if the British had sent a capital ship along with that task force, we'd be in some trouble. Let's see, Alfheim, you are a bit faster than the other armored cruisers, so you cannot play with them. It's just gonna be chaos. You can just go along on your own. These DDs, I don't think they're gonna be of any use. Simply because they are kind of too old. Coddy, you can be useful. And the battleships will just have to try and do their best. This time it's the Odin leading the pack. Not the Poseidon for some reason, despite the Poseidon being by far the biggest one. Yeah, should be able to stand up to some punishment, despite being an older ship. But with that outdated tower, couldn't really find a better one that fit. I don't think her long-range accuracy will be of much use. It's nice to see it being still around, though. Let's see. Are we in... yeah, we are in torpedo range. Basically. Put the guns on Owl. Torpedoes on Calypso. And their DD has launched. Let's turn the other cheek. Get some more torpedoes in the water. Let's see if we're gonna score any torpedo hits here. We might. We didn't. Nope. No luck. Poseidon. You're gonna target Blenheim. Let's see, Cody, you can maybe try and get closer to Owl again. Take it out before those torpedoes reload. Let's figure out which of these light cruisers has torpedoes. And then give it some extra attention. Now, yeah, you've taken some 10-inch hits. Weymouth has launched. Not sure against which ship exactly, but could be my old cruisers. Probably not, though. Owl goes down. And Poseidon is hitting the enemy heavy cruiser. No sign of the enemy torpedoes just yet. There they are. We seem to be... Poseidon seems to be safe. Teed might take one. No, we're good. We are good for now. Alright. No need to panic. Okay, Weymouth has launched more torpedoes. but we're still good. We're still good. Nice. The ISIS class light cruisers, I should have no problem just taking on, getting close, getting them down, because they don't have torpedoes. And my battleships have enough armor that their small guns should not be able to do a lot of damage. It's the Weymouth that I thought you were out of torps. You were not. Well, we're good. Sidon has not taken too serious damage. Let's see, Alfheim, you can get in here, deal with Naiad. Pre-dreadnoughts. They're gonna be brawling with the light cruisers. Oh, that's a torpedo hit. That's not one of my torpedoes. Can't be. That means Blenheim launched torpedoes. And Kirakoa kindly acted as my early torpedo warning system. Much appreciated. Thank you. Blenheim goes down. Alfheim is maneuvering a bit, just in case those torpedoes were actually aimed at her. And that was it. Nice. Not bad, considering the age of some of the ships involved. Yeah, Odin will probably get to become a museum ship after this war. Probably the Teed and the other pre-dreadnoughts as well. Here we go, one French light cruiser. And Helge Ingstad gets to deal with this on her own. Not just because it's it's a bit simpler just commanding one ship. And if something goes wrong and this ship gets to within torpedo range, which it is, because those are very long-range torpedoes, I don't risk my entire task force taking a lot of torpedo hits. It's easier to dodge with just one ship than with a full squadron. And there we go. That was it. And there come the torpedoes. But the match ended before they hit anything, so good enough. Let's see, I've lost one transport. So 199% transport capacity, that's good enough. We're taking this one. That is nice. We're taking that one. No, 40%. That's got to be down to that French light cruiser. That kind of interrupted me That's still at 100, so 2 more months to take northern Spain. Two more months here. And my army is finally on the offensive against Laos, but the enemy army force has increased from 87, just 87, to 352,000. And I was wrong, these ships are not inside of the invasion circle. So let's just fix that. You can sit here, right outside of Batavia, and farm some strike missions. Because Java is an oil-producing region, and that is nice to have. I don't know where those 350,000 Frenchmen came from, but there they are. I'll probably just take this through war operations. It's not that valuable, so I should be able to afford it, and maybe pick up some French battleships as well. They don't have any currently, but I think they're building some. Because I think I've seen them like lay down some battleships. And hopefully they are that big 90,000 ton class, the ones with the 20-inch guns. So, on to July. Let's see here. Typical strike missions. And that was that. Sonar 2. Alright. And we're taking that one. Good. Yeah, they're really hanging on to Laos there. It's fine. This one we're taking next turn. That will be nice. And then it's just Morocco left, and should be ready for a peace treaty with France. Hopefully they'll have some battleships for me by then. As for Britain, Central Canada. Northern Canada, 22,000 tons. Where's Northern Canada? Well, it's here. It's not too valuable. Central Canada kind of is. And it has a 100,000 ton port. Halifax. Okay, Odin being repaired and Cody. Let's go for Central Canada. Alright. Strikes first. And there's a meeting somewhere. Here we go. Another French light cruiser. We've taken northern Spain though. Back. That is good. And I'm letting the Greek-built Canaris 1 do the honors here. Because she only has a regular crew. Needs a bit of experience. Lots of guns though. There we go. Main belt pen from one of the 13.5s. Enemy has launched torpedoes. So we should be maneuvering a little bit. And there we go. And I was just too late. I was gonna pause it and take a picture, but nope. Anyway, it's a win. Now let's see. Do any of these? Kwangcha-1 is mine as well. Do any of them have battleships yet in service? No. Are any of them commissioning any battleships? Doesn't look like it. I'm not sure I want to take a peace treaty until until they have some battleships for me. You know, the French army force has been greatly reduced. Good to see. Let's send these battleships to port. Bangkok seems to be the biggest one here. Or Fort Bayard. It's not quite big enough. I guess there's always Singapore. You know, let's just send them here. The battlecruisers belong in Singapore. They're a bigger task force. As for these guys, there's a lot of battlecruisers combined together. These belong down in South America. Except for Canadis and Soleil. They can sit here in, where's the biggest one? Belfast? That's on the cruisers here too. There we go. This task force, they are the ones being supposed to be stationed here, except for the Hiel class that belong in the Mediterranean. But now, instead of packing them all into these tiny ports here, we can send them to Barcelona. 138,000 tons. Good. So that's Fenris, Garm, Hel, Jormungand. One squadron of Vikings. And a what kind of ship is this? Ragnar. Let's see, what kind of cruisers do we have here? Heimdall, Hugin. Like so, maybe. So that can go there. Now that heavy cruiser can actually head here. Ooh, Gibraltar is a huge port. I need to put something there at some point. These haughty claws, you can go to Varna. Like so. Oh yeah, maybe maybe this task force here should actually be participating here in this naval invasion, just to get it up to 100%. Hopefully, before it finishes. That would be nice. And yeah, Britain, Central Canada, 87,000 tons. Do I have enough? Maybe. Britain sure don't have any battleships yet, so you're gonna have to prolong that war. Let's see, does France have any battleships left? Or will they have any by next turn? I'm still pretty sure they're building some of them. I'm not sure how far along they are in the construction phase. Alright, no thank you, Greece and China. We've taken Morocco back. We got Mark IV 20-inch guns. Nice. No transport losses. %. Very nice. Okay, this huge task force actually, yeah, oh, they could actually fit here. These are very big ports now. But I think Gibraltar is the better place to put them. Let's see, we had 3 J-33s, got 1 here, so that makes sense. We got a bunch of Vikings up in Oslo now. 262,000 tons, that's a big port. 300,000 in Copenhagen. Alright. Alright. Let's see, do any of you have battleships yet? You do not. So I will just have to keep extending these wars until I see they have any ships that I want to take, so I can give them refits. Right. Before we go, I just saw I got the Mark IV 20-inch guns, so I want to see if they now fit on those built-in barbettes, because that has been the case with a few other gun sizes. Once I went up to Mark IV, the turrets actually got a little bit smaller compared to Mark III. Now they fit. No, these are 18-inch. Never mind. I misclicked. No, they still don't. Never mind. Not even the single ones? No. Especially not the quads. I thought they would fit, but they didn't. Let's see. That's a fragile super battleship there. Is that the oh, that's the British looking one. With Italian towers. And German secondary towers. I mean, it could potentially work as a hull for 20-inch guns. Potentially. Not gonna build it now, but you know, it's big enough to make it fit. How about this was also requested. Make a ship with triple super firing main guns. So that would mean I would need to have this rear tower a bit back, like that. That's such a huge barbette. How about just an extra tall one? Is that centered? Not even close. There we go. Too tall turrets. What if I step down a few sizes, down to 16? Because these turrets are fairly low profile. These American style turrets. I don't think 18s would work. Maybe as triples? No, 18s work. So this can work. Come on now. Don't be so fiddly. Like that does work. Is there enough room for the superstructure like this though? You can think of this as just a teaser. There is enough room. Wouldn't be possible to have one back here, would it? No. But see there, that does work. It's a lot of 18-inch guns firing forwards. That's a lot of firepower for a 65,000 ton ship. Potentially I could find a bigger barbette here too, and maybe try some bigger turrets. How about 17s? Actually going down in turret size. Thus the 17-inch turrets are quite a bit smaller than the 18s, as you can see. And in that case, maybe a Maybe a smaller barbette, even? It would need to be tall, though. It says very tall, but I don't think it's that tall. No, apparently that works. I'd like one that is a bit wider. There we go. That looks perfect-ish. Can I go quad stack? Is that possible? Can I quad stack these turrets? Let's see. I need to move this barbette back a little bit while keeping it center line. Kind of. Not quite. That would be funny though, wouldn't it? I would need to find a barbette that is slightly lower profile than this. Because these turrets are low enough that you don't need that much lift to superfire. Right? Interesting. But that's for a later date. Goodbye, and take care.